While on the topic of addictions and the power of the mind, just as you have some addictive thought to go towards, oh, the cigarette, you can have an addictive thought, a belief that makes you repulsed against cigarettes. That's why a lot of people that quit smoking are like repulsed to be around it. They have to have a belief that it's repulsive to them. Anyways, here's the power of the mind. Um, it was about 6 months ago that after a conversation that was really, really strange and really, really frustrating and basically the center of my hell, after I hung up the phone, wasn't really so much after I hung up the phone, but it was that night that something happened to my back, my lower back. And when I woke up the next morning, I had no legs. I couldn't I couldn't even move myself in bed. I have no movement in my from my lower back down. I was completely paralyzed. And it's like, when you get up in the morning, you got to go to the bathroom. It's like, how do you wake up in the morning and you can't even turn yourself in bed, let alone get yourself to a bathroom? Little too much information, I know. But that's what I was dealing with is my, you know, I had these visions. Oh my God, I'm going to be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and this is it, and this is how I'm going to, the rest of my life is going to be, in a wheelchair. And it was like, no fucking way. And it was the same kind of attitude when I wasn't aging. It was like, there's no freaking way I'm aging. It's just not going to happen. Like I had such a belief that there's no way I was going to age, and I never was. When I was like 47, people thought I was late 20s, early 30s. And then I started aging about 2 or 3 years ago when I kind of seen how fucked up the world is, and it's like, who the hell wants to live in this world, And then all of a sudden, aging came out over me. So that's, drive of this YouTube and mission in life type of thing is okay, change the universe. If you can't change, you have to change your environment. And let's face it, if the whole fucking environment is all screwed up, you gotta change a pretty big environment. Anyways, getting back to the legs, it was the same belief, that same drive that I had of, are you just gonna lay down here and, be crippled? Do you know that the brain can do anything, and you just gotta, pull yourself up and listen to what your back wants. So it is that same process that I'm using to quit smoking. It is the same process that has healed every single thing that I've had to overcome. And my back issues definitely wanted something. But it didn't go away instantly. It went away somewhat gradually. Like, I did get better during the day because I was listening to what it wanted, and it definitely, wanted me to relax and just calm down and do a lot of things that were centered around just pamper yourself. And also with the same belief that you got shit to do. You got to be moving around an awful lot more, and it was like, how can you move when your back is crippled? When you have no legs, how the hell do you move? So you have to work within your mind first to be able to get those legs to work. So, needless to say, it there was about a week of being crippled where I couldn't move at all during, and that was like when I woke up. I was basically crippled, but while I woke up and started being aware, started being, aware of my thoughts, towards the end of the day I was able to move around. And so I was able to move somewhat during the day, but it took about a week for me to constantly be totally aware of what I was thinking about, totally aware of what it was I was thinking about, totally aware of what my mission is and what my drive is supposed to be and what the steps are that I need to do. Now, that could have been a pinched nerves, it could have been a ruptured disc, it could have been anything. Um, oddly enough, nothing really was happening in my life other than that one really upsetting conversation, which being hypersensitive, I'm seeing that a lot of really challenging conversations tend to affect my health in a big major way. It's like, you know what, you better watch who you talk to because you're killing them. If somebody's not strong within themselves, words can definitely kill a person. So, but anyways, I, in the last 6 months, every once in a while, the back will flare up, and it always is going to be involved with a stress related thing. If I'm dealing with any form of stress, then it may flare up again, but it's getting next to near perfect. And um, when you end up getting something like that, you go to a doctor will tell you, this is a medical problem. It's going to last for, a year, or it's going to last 6 months. You're going to be disabled. The medical profession will diagnose you and tell you what you need to expect. Then you believe in what to expect. And then you create the behaviors for you to, create the reality you've been just programmed to create. And all of these illnesses, all of these challenges that cross your path are just moments in time that you're supposed to pay attention to something. You're supposed to wake up, be aware of something that's going on, and it will always be a thought. And that thought has the definite power to make you sick, make you crippled even. But if the mind is that powerful to make you sick, it is that powerful to heal you. You have spontaneous cancers just get healed spontaneously. What were they thinking about? What did they do? What shifts in themselves did they need to do in order to have this spontaneous healing? So my main point is I could have been crippled for more than a year, could have been the rest of my life, but I chose not to. Just like I'm choosing not to deal with this smoking addiction anymore. Was playing it out until the time was to quit, and that time is coming near. It is about going into the problem so you can, fully understand the problem. You can really develop a totally different belief system once you're sort of right off your cliff. When you're at that cliff, ready to die, when you see your life flash behind you, or in front of you, then that's the time you make a massive shift. So when we see our world about to come to an end, it's like I ain't too worried about, our whole world's going to be destroyed. It's like as long as somebody is putting out positive energy, as long as somebody is putting out the suggestion of the possibilities, then within time enough people will know about it, and it can make a massive change just before we get off that cliff. So that's my prediction is I think this particular time that we're going into this cycle of 2012, I don't really have to change the world. I think the world is going to change itself, but we got to get to that point of near destruction. Those that want to be aware and have that will to live, that hope for humanity, that love for humanity, that will to be aware of what's going on, that will to want to have all of those answers, the will to jump into solutions, the will to do whatever it takes to survive, are going to be the ones that end up surviving. And it ain't going to be the ones that bury themselves in the ground, these wealthy people. It ain't going to be them because they don't know how to do it. They know how to engage themselves. Just a little bit of information. Peace out.